you are a figment of your environment and you are what you consume. So basically what I mean by that is just that us as people, we tend to mold to our environment, to our circumstances, and the things that we allow ourselves to consume and partake in. Sorry guys, it is like windy right now. We're outside with it too, by the way, if you can't tell. Anyways, yeah, so essentially what I'm just trying to say here is like, we as people will consume and mold to the environments that we are put in. That is why it is so important to be so intentional with everything you do, with the choices you make, whether that be friends, whether that be, I mean, literally anything, like what you're consuming, whether that be just watching TikTok, spending time on social media, whether that be friend groups, whether that be music, literally anything that you put in your life and that plays a part in your life is going to either mold you into the person you want to be or set you farther apart from the person you want to be. So it is so intentional to make decisions that are appropriate for you and you becoming and molding into your higher self. So for example, me personally, I am a very like distant person, and I am very much like based off energy. I run off energy and I run off what's best for my interests. There's times where I fall and I might slack. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm human too at the end of the day. And there's times where I mess up, or I just, I put myself in these wrong spaces and stuff like that, and I might, slip off track a little bit or for a while or whatever. But essentially I'm like very, very like energy bound, and when I feel like something's not right for me, especially like people, friends, relationships, I am like so quick to dip or either distance myself. And I don't think it's like really anything personal, and I don't think it's a me thing or like the people around me thing. I just think that like when I like outgrow spaces or people or lifestyles, like people gotta go, people gotta go. And I am so quick to just ride solo opposed to like sitting in a space that's just not serving me and helping me grow, because I know there's so many things that I want to do in my life, so many goals I have, and I know the biggest holdbacks for me are going to either A, be my friendships, or B, be my relationships. Like I know when I'm solo by myself, that's when I tend to thrive the most and grow the most, and that's what I learned personally from experience. Like about like a year ago, this time maybe like last year, I was in a crazy position and I was literally like pretty much solo. Like it was just me and me. And I learned that like when I was just, solo on my own time doing my own thing, that's when I was growing the most. That's when I was becoming this better version of myself, opposed to when I, started hanging it back out with friends, and just all different things, getting in all different things. I ended up picking back up on old habits that I worked so hard to let go of. And that's just simply because I'm hanging around areas and people that aren't serving me, and essentially they're holding me back from just becoming the better person, because I was on this ladder of just going up, right? And I started hanging out with these people and taking part in these decisions that I wasn't doing alone. When I was alone, I was doing X, Y, and Z. I started hanging out with different people, and that put me on a completely different track. And I have to also be responsible too, I'm aware, and say like, hey, at the end of the day, it's up to me to make those decisions. But it's very, very, very easy to mold to your environment. You are a product of your environment. You are who you hang around. You are what you eat. Like, it's all of that. Like, all of those sayings, I'm telling you, all those things, it's just true. You can want to be different so bad, but if you're hanging around a group of bad apples, you're right along with them. You're gonna get looked right past. Like that's just the reality of it. And it's so important to realize sometimes you're going to outgrow your environments, sometimes you're not going to be fit for your environments, and it is important to be able to notice that, and not only just notice that, but to step away to make those changes. And you don't always have to like completely X out these people in your life, but you definitely do have to be able to take a step back from those things and those realities, because at the end of the day, this is your life, and these are your choices that you make. So every choice you make is going to either set you apart or it is going to make you the same. So you have to choose that actively. Every day you wake up, you have to make those choices. And I was in just like a genuine flow state, to say the least. Like I was just on my shit, and I got caught up in everything else, and I noticed that and I recognized that, and that's what set me back, and that's what made me fail in like a lot of ways and aspects. But honestly, it's just all a part of the story. But it would be wrong for me to not notice that and recognize that as like me messing up, me failing, you know. As long as you get back up and try again. And that's literally what this whole channel is about, is just me documenting my process of getting back up, and even stumbling maybe, but getting back up, because that is the most important part, is like not letting your downfalls just sit there and be your downfalls, because you are so much more than any mistake you make, any bad choice you make. You are so much more than that. And just outside of us being human, like, we have a great God that forgives us and that is willing to take us back in our life, well, in his life, at like any moment. We just have to call on him. We just have to want a relationship with him and work towards having a relationship with him, and he'll do the rest of the work. And it's so important to remember that it's not just up to us. We don't have to fight these battles alone. We never did. It never just had to be an us thing. And as much as we just try and make it an us thing and we try and fight these battles alone, the more we are going to be running into these failures, because we need God in everything that we do. Whether it's taking a test, whether it's going shopping, whether it's going from point A to point B, you need God, and that's such an important factor. And if you don't have God in your life, you really essentially have nothing. You have nothing. You're going to be running in circles. And for me, I know God is such an important factor too, and that's something else that I need to like get back on track with, because like faith is so important, and being able to trust, let go, stop overthinking, and just bear the fruit that God gives us, like, is such an important thing to do, you know, and just a skill to have. Like, and I want to say skill specifically just simply due to the fact that like it's not something you just wake up and do. You don't just, you know, not overthink. That's something that a lot of people have to work towards. Maybe some people have more of a spirit to not overthink, and you know, they can fight those challenges, but that means they're lacking somewhere else. So overall, it's a skill that you make. It's something you do. It's something you build, and that is so important to know and to realize. And I'm talking and I'm saying all of this, and I'm hearing myself, yeah, I'm still the same one making these mistakes and running in these circles. But I think me saying this out loud and me just continuing to talk myself through this in a digital like journal format is going to be so helpful for me, because it's like I'm hearing it, I'm saying it, I'm speaking it. That's really all you need to do. And I've been struggling so bad just with overthinking and with my faith, and that's really where I want to head at now. And that's why, like, I'm just saying, you know, your environment is so important. You know, if I'm hanging around a group of people who are motivated and want to become better versions of themselves, want to become better versions of themselves, want to have God in, you know, the center of everything they're doing, then, you know, essentially I'm going to want that too, and I'm going to mold to those environments, and I'm going to, you know, grow in those environments and thrive in those environments, opposed to being the highest in the room, hanging out with people who want to, you know, sleep all day, lay around, eat apples and bananas, but not apples and bananas, literally junk all day, and, you know, just, you know, mope around and just talk negative and all those things. You know, I'm gonna outgrow them, for one, and if not outgrow them, I'm going to be dragged down by them. I'm going to be dragged down by their stagnant lifestyle and choices and ways. So just remembering that, like, for me, remembering that everyone is like a figment of me. It is a figment of me. I am who I hang around. I am a product of my environment, and you have to be able to take that. And being a product of your environment, I'm not saying that in a sense where it's like, oh, you know, you're here, you have to stay here because you're a product of this. No, that's not what it is. At the end of the day, regardless of if you want to be it or not, you're going to form and mold to your environment. But you can always grow out of that. You can always, you know, take a piece of that with you, but you need to grow. There's going to be so many spaces, so many doors for you. And if you sit there and you get held back by just every day and the reality and people and friends and relationships, you will get held back. And I can't I can't take that no more. I can't take those losses no more for my sake. I can't, because every day I want to become a better version of myself, a better person, and I have to take those steps, and I have to let go and close certain doors. And that's the only way I'm going to be able to do it and be successful, because a lot of the negativity and a lot of the just draininess of individuals around me and just trying to carry their weight from day to day is literally going to kill me and break me. So I have to break those bonds. And that's really that. So for me, I think today, my journaling topic is basically just that. I have to understand I'm a product of my environment, and to want better, to be better, I'm gonna have to seek better, you know, for myself and for the people around me. And that is that. So yeah, just remember, at the end of the day, this is your story, this is your life. And if you have to turn a new page, if you have to cross some, you know, chapters out, cross some sentences out just to do that, you gotta do that. Because at the end of the day, life's gonna keep going. Life's gonna keep going, and life will literally leave you behind. It 110% will. And I learned that time and time again. Like, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind, because life's gonna keep going. The world's gonna keep spinning, and you either jump on board or you stay stagnant. And for me, this year's all about change, so that's not gonna work. Anyways, I'm literally out, and I'll catch you big booty Judies later.